Hello and welcome to Valuechain News. I am Naomi Oleribe. First, the headlines. Why queues resurfaced in Abuja filling stations. NNPC. HostCon vows to reject imposition of members of host communities trust commission. Crude oil theft. Federal government commences advanced cargo declaration regime. And now, the news in detail. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) Limited has attributed the appearance of queues at filling stations in Abuja to disruption in loading due to public holidays last week. The company, in a series of tweets on its official Twitter handle, said in the early hours of today that it was ramping up loading to eliminate the queues. The tweet stated that the NNPC notes the sudden appearance of few queues in parts of Abuja. This is very likely due to low loadouts at depots, which usually happens during long public holidays, in this case the Salah celebrations. Another contributing factor to the sudden appearance of queues is the increased fuel purchases, which is also usual with returning residents of the FCT from the public holidays. NNPC and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, in conjunction with our marketing partners, have taken necessary measures to ramp up loadouts from all depots. We assure all residents of the FCT and indeed all Nigerians that we have ample local supplies and national stock in excess of 2.5 billion litres with sufficiency of more than 43 days. The NNPC Limited hereby advises motorists not to engage in panic buying as supplies are adequate and will become increasingly evident in the coming days. National Chairman of Host Communities of Nigeria Producing Oil and Gas, HostCon, Dr. Mike Emu, has said the group will reject any imposition of member on the Host Communities Trust Fund Commission that will be set up to manage the 3% operating cost OPEC allocated to the host communities under the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA). Emu stated that any nominations by multinational oil companies or state governors for the Trust Fund Commission would be rejected, adding that the traditional rulers and leadership of host communities should be allowed to nominate members of their communities to manage the funds that will accrue to them. Emu, while inaugurating the state chapter of HostCon under the leadership of Hardy Theophilus in Yanogwa at the weekend, advised the host communities to be united and desist from fighting themselves and channel their energies towards attracting development to their domains. He condemned crude oil theft and illegal refinery, describing the act as destructive to the environment and ecosystem, and called on the leadership of oil-producing communities not to allow themselves and communities to be used to perpetrate crimes and criminalities. With unprecedented crude oil theft becoming a big challenge to oil production and revenue generation, the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) has obtained necessary approvals to immediately implement the advanced cargo declaration regime in upstream petroleum operations to enhance transparency. The effort blocks the export of stolen crude oil by ensuring that crude oil and gas cargoes exported from Nigeria will have a unique identifier that confirms all documentation of exported consignment. This implies that any cargo that does not have the unique identifier was not legitimately exported from the country. The Commission's Chief Executive, Gbenga Komolafe, made the disclosure in Abuja during a media briefing at the weekend. According to him, there were pragmatic steps taken to grow the petroleum industry by blocking waste and deepening developmental reforms. He noted the NUPRC as a regulator has obtained necessary approvals to ensure installation of metering equipment (LACT) units in the upstream petroleum industry using original equipment manufacturers (OEMs) to avert potential manipulation of figures that could result in shortchanging the Federation of Oil and Gas revenue. Uganda and Tanzania have signed a memorandum of understanding on cooperation and security for the crude oil pipeline. On behalf of the two nations, the agreement was signed by Uganda's Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Vincent Bamulankagi, and his Tanzanian counterpart, Dr. Stegomena Eltax, at a function in Kampala. Bamulankagi, in his remarks, said the need to conclude the framework for defense and security cooperation between the two sister countries was one of the core issues that President Suluhu Hassan and President Museveni have as top on agenda at the forefront of cementing the relationship between the two countries. I am therefore happy to note that today we have moved on some of the issues, including reviewing the Memorandum of Understanding MOU on defense and security cooperation, as well as operationalizing the Intergovernmental Security Committee for the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Project, he said. OPEC Secretary General His Excellency Mohamed Barkindo arrived in Caracas, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, on Friday, 6 May for a working visit. He was received by a high-level delegation from the Venezuelan government headed by His Excellency Wilmer Castro Soteldo, Minister of Popular Power for Agriculture and Land. The Secretary General's working visit in Venezuela would witness many planned high-profile meetings with His Excellency Nicolas Maduro, President of the Venezuelan Republic, His Excellency Delcy Rodriguez Gomez, Vice President, and other critical stakeholders in the country. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries was founded in Baghdad, Iraq, with the signing of an agreement in September 1960 by 5 countries, namely Islamic Republic of Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. They were to become the founding members of the organization. Many Nigerians have reacted to the reported purchase of the 100 million naira worth All Progressives Congress presidential nomination and expression of interest forms by the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Many have described Emefiele's presidential bid while still serving as the CBN governor as an attack on democratic process, adding that such action violates the CBN Act and urged him to resign his post before declaring to run for president. The most high-profile reaction so far has come from the Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, who stated that Emefiele's act portends a great danger to the fragile economy of Nigeria. He added that the combined effects of the Public Service Rules, CBN Act, and the 1999 Constitution, as amended, exposes not only the oddity inherent in this brash exercise of presumed rights to associate. Before we end the news, here's a recap of our headlines. Why queues resurfaced in Abuja filling stations. NNPC. HostCon vows to reject imposition of members of Host Communities Trust Commission. Crude oil theft. Federal government commences advanced cargo declaration regime. And that's the news. I am Naomi Oleribe. Good evening.